Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the eLearning Champion podcast, where we explore the strategies, trends, and successes shaping digital learning. Are you ready to discover what AI powered learning and development looks like? Today's episode explores AI transformation in L&D, the need for upskilling and reskilling. For this session, I am thrilled to introduce Violet Zilman. Hi there, Violet.
Hi.
Violet brings a unique blend of global experience and academic rigor to AI driven workforce transformation. Having traveled to 28 countries and lived across Europe, Asia, and the USA on government assignments, she combines master's degrees in pedagogy, linguistics, and psychology with specialized AI training from Wharton. Her management expertise shines in leading multicultural, multi generational, remote teams of independent contractors. Violet has developed a proprietary framework for rapidly onboarding team members with AI tools focusing on delivering projects on time with maximum efficiency while navigating the human side of AI adoption. We are thrilled to have you on board today, Violet.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Dear listeners, before we dive in, make sure you're a true e-learning champion by hitting that follow button wherever you're listening in from. Now to get started. So Violet, how do you personally use AI to become your team's MVP and how can others do the same thing without being tech experts?
Well, AI plays a huge role these days because it's not a desirable tool; it's a necessity. And
Right.
by having AI at your disposal, you actually can create more time to be available for your humans, and humans can do the same.
Right.
For example, when I bring people in my team, they are independent contractors and they work through the virtual projects. We do not see each other, it's part of the
Right.
regulations. And when they come on board, the first, I would say a few days are very intimidating for anybody who is starting a new position. And
Right.
AI plays a huge role because I created a custom GPT. And sometimes people are intimidated to ask as many questions as they
Right.
want. And custom GPT provides them that opportunity because whatever they have in their mind, that custom GPT can answer for them. And the
Wow.
answers, I know for sure that the answers are validated because this is a custom GPT. It has no information that could be misinterpreted, could be
Oh,
hallucination or anything else. So this is my source that I collected over the years, and they're valuable, absolutely
wow.
valuable information that is true, correct, and up to date. And by having that source, it eases off people. They
Right.
understand that there is nothing that makes them uncomfortable. And for some people, when they're not familiar with AI as much, that breaks them from, oh, I don't need it, I don't know how to learn it, into being
Right.
enthusiastic and being comfortable with transitioning into a deeper usage of the AI. So that is one of my main hacks because I think it's like, it removes the pressure because we are curious by nature, but asking
Right.
questions may be like perceived as being annoying. And when people have this freedom to ask as many questions, they kind of take out the anxiety out of themselves and they're fine. This is one of the things. And I use the same technique with the required documentation. Which is mandatory, but it's like 400 pages. Nobody
Oh,
reads 400 pages. When so I introduce my team members to simple prompts. And when they see the book with 400 pages that they feel obligated to read, and then they have access to the same library, but with a simple
right.
prompt, they can get the information that they need without that effort. It
Right.
also makes them very happy. And, I become everybody's favorite from the beginning.
Right. I also believe it makes the team members more productive. Like you said, they get what they need quickly, so they can use their time for other tasks.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because this is like, the settling is a very important part. And, by educating them through hands-on experience is probably the
Yes,
best value that L&D can deliver.
absolutely. Yes. Now, coming to settling in, what are your thoughts on AI avatars being used in learning?
I think AI avatars are fantastic. Unfortunately, they have been misused. We saw so many bad uses of the
Right,
avatars. When the company gets bad material to the avatar, and it becomes a bad video with the avatar.
right,
I think digital avatars could be very handy when we are onboarding people.
right. Correct.
But I know that people are very sensitive to the hands movements and mouth movements with avatars. It could be like a
Correct.
stopping block. But I also found digital avatars are valuable tools when we are talking about knowledge transfer.
Yes.
Those long time working employees who know everything from start
Correct.
to finish. They are not comfortable to be on the camera and share their knowledge in the professional setting. But
Correct.
if you will create their digital avatars, then they feel liberated and the knowledge sharing happens naturally. And I think this is like one of those fantastic options to ease off people, to ease off pressure, and help them actually transfer knowledge in the best possible way, especially when the company is global.
Right.
It's really hard to schedule a video production, and it's also very expensive, to
Right.
record someone and to make them into a movie star. But with the digital
Right.
avatar, it's a very simple process. It could be done like within few hours, but then that
Correct.
avatar can serve the company really well, and the
Yes.
person does not feel a burden to actually leave the work, get in front of the camera, smile, and read the script, which not
Right.
everybody likes to be on the camera.
Correct. Not
So that
everyone.
is
Yes.
exactly. So this is like one of the probably best applications in my mind. But again, with the digital avatars, we are not outsourcing humans. We're actually helping humans to live
Right.
their lives and having digital avatars as their representatives in the moments when that is important.
Correct.
But they are not substituting humans, they are assisting humans.
Assisting you. Wow. Yes. That's a very nice way you framed it. Now, could you give us four more ways how AI avatars can be used in L&D?
Absolutely. In L&D, the avatars could be your coach.
Yes.
That could be someone you can talk to,
Right.
and you have an option in voice selection, in gender selection, in tone selection. Like it's a very great way to have it done. It could be your helpful assistant when
Right.
you are practicing, for example, your pitch. You can actually have an avatar to go off instead of just a blank screen. That could be
Right.
your guide. The avatars are wonderful when they work as the welcoming screen for someone who is just starting with the company. I know our HR is using onboarding avatars as well.
Wow.
And again, the extension of the person for the events where the presence is formal, not real, that is the very good use of the avatar.
Wow. Interesting. So, From your experience, Violet, how is AI reshaping learning and performance in real workplaces? Not in theory, but actual change.
It's I think we're living in a very interesting times because everything is being reshaped so
I
fast.
agree.
And at the same
Yes.
time, we're just, like I see the effect of the AI times through 4 generations because I
Wow.
work with baby boomers, I work with Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. And it's very interesting how AI affects every single generation,
Right.
where the baby boomers and some of the late Gen X's are still kind of undecisive in which way to go.
Which way? Yes.
They consider AI as the something they have to learn. They probably don't want to, but they will because they
Right.
have to. And this is the requirement, and they're taking it like a chore. With
Right.
the Gen Y, I see more where the people uh, take AI as a tool. They are more comfortable in using it, but they're still functioning in combination with personal skills and AI. And with Gen X, that is a very interesting observation because this is a with the Gen Z, I'm sorry, with Gen Z, they are such a technology driven generation.
Right.
And this is the generation I love, but I also worry about them because they're so used to outsource everything to AI,
Correct.
and they are the ones who are actually giving up their personal skills before they fully develop them.
Correct.
And
Yes.
that's the moment that I'm facing. But with the learning and development, that is crucial to address each generation differently in the
Right.
learning programs. And AI makes it possible because you were not able to customize the learning experience to the point as you can right now. Because just from
Yes.
the basic onboarding, you can actually mainstream a generation into the actually route that is working for them. Because even the presentation of the main knowledge is different for each generation, like Gen
Correct.
Z.
Right.
They are striving on micro learning, but not everything could be presented through micro learning. So you have to
Right.
be very creative in actually forming the information that they have to consume through the media that they're used to. So the colors, the voices, the background scenes, they have to be digestible for for Gen
Right.
Zs to actually understand and comprehend the information. Gen Ys are the next one, but they're more adaptable. And Gen X and baby boomers, they're like, we have to do it, we're doing it. So they're like the easiest
Right.
going. But compared to Gen Z, Gen X, and baby boomers, they actually build their knowledge skills
Right.
in a way that if AI is gone, they still can function.
Correct.
But
Yes.
but with Gen Z, if AI is gone, they won't be able to function.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because these skills in critical thinking, in analyzing, it actually takes a repetitive activities throughout the time where you actually train your brain to develop the functions. You cannot have
Correct.
critical thinking developed to the fullest when you just graduated school or college. Like it takes
Right.
time to develop reasoning, and that's the part where AI is reshaping learning and development because the emphasis becomes on the skills that were not fully developed. So with Gen Zs, it's more of a soft skill approach in training. And with Gen Y and Gen X, it's more of a technical approach in training. It's
Right.
very interesting, but it could be accommodated with AI.
Right. Wow. Okay. Now, Where do you personally see the real value of AI at work, and where do you think the hype really outweighs the results?
Well, the mistaken approach about AI that it's about automation. Like
Right,
automation for the sake of automation, I don't like it. AI,
right,
it's a very deep and valuable tool that actually helps human to augment their skills, not to replace them and not to diminish them. The more I work with AI, the more I love my humans because humans have very unique approach, and that is the main, I guess, factor that is playing a crucial part these days. Because when people build, how would I say, it? People build this internal fear that
right,
it's either too late or too complicated to learn AI. And it's very easy to understand why, because there are so many tools, people using all those, jargon words and, whatever. But the main point, you don't need to learn everything. Not everybody needs AI agent. Not
right,
everybody needs to have like a full spectrum of the AI tools you can think of. You can
right.
actually you can actually be very productive and deliver amazing results if you will learn one or two tools. Like, for example, I definitely recommend Gemini, and I
Right.
do recommend ChatGPT because they do have a um, very good selection of tools within the model itself.
Right.
And if
Correct.
you're comfortable with those two, I think you can do anything you want and be more productive because AI can help you with data analytics. It can help you with um, documenting your notes. That's
Correct.
my favorite function through the
Right.
meetings. I just run my AI and it just creates immaculate notes for me, which I can work with. So things like that, but it's not a substitute. It's in addition to the human brain. And I cannot probably emphasize it enough because you don't need to know every single AI tool. It's impossible, but you need
Right.
to know a few, but you have to know how to use them to the full capacity because it's a fabulous tool. I always have in the, like I always give a visual example, like you are giving a helicopter but you're using it as a bicycle. So, like you can actually fly high, but people are not understanding the full capacity of those just
Right.
two tools.
Correct. Wow, that's a nice example. Yes. So now, Violet, what are your go-to strategies when co-creating content with AI while making sure your human voice stays present?
Absolutely. And, like the longer you work in a certain industry, the more you create your experience, and that experience is your core, actually.
Right.
Because the fascination with AI from, like I see on LinkedIn and everywhere else, and I can always spot AI generated content because
Right.
it's very it's kind of like the information that is sitting on top, and you understand that, like it has been generated for by someone who is not an expert but wants to
Right.
position, like himself or herself as an expert. But when you're creating your content, you understand the core message, what you want to deliver. For example, you're very specific about the outcome you want to get. And
Right.
when you are outsourcing AI, it's pretty much not to substitute your thinking, but actually expedite certain things that you want to include in the message. For example, again, when I'm creating my messages, I use my custom GPT. I do
Right.
not outsource. through the through the language models to the outside of the company GPT. I go to my proprietary, and I understand that when I'm providing a request, find this information, I know that my custom GPT will respond in the way from my source that actually, will deliver the results that I want, and it saves tremendous amount of time. And this is actually my recommendation for anybody who is listening: create your own knowledge base, because knowledge will become very expensive if you will consider the amount of money people will be paying in the subscription for any AI tool with a good database. In the future, it will become more expensive. So whenever you have an opportunity to digitize your knowledge and create your own knowledge base that is actually based on what you know, that is the base form of existence, because in that case, you know that you're always accurate, efficient, and up to date, because you constantly work with your knowledge base. And the more information you have in your knowledge base, the more independent you become, regardless of the AI tools out there. So it's all about my perspective, and I cannot say it enough to my team members and to anybody. You always have to be prepared to the day when AI is not available.
Right.
But you have to function.
Correct.
So this is the strategy of using AI. How can you utilize AI in a way that it backs you up now, but when it's gone, you still able to perform to the best regardless of the technology around you? I think this is like the most valuable thing. But building your personal knowledge base with the books, with the notes, with the charts, with everything that is probably the best investment of your time you can allow yourself to do.
Interesting. Yes. Now, what values guide your approach to the ethical AI use in learning, and how can organizations stay more accountable?
Yes. People don't understand, some people don't understand that AI is a very, it's not Google. It's a much deeper and bigger tool. But unfortunately, all the mistakes are happening when people mistakenly using AI in the form as they use Google. Because this is a completely different approach, and the information is on a completely different, depth. And the harm from that basic search or the use of information that you shouldn't do, but you did just because you didn't know, is something that has much severe consequences with AI than with Google. And having said that, AI ethics are very important. You have to operate within the boundaries. You have to understand the security requirements of the company you're working for. You have to understand your personal individual contribution to the AI as a system within organization. Every organization has a different structure, but cybersecurity with AI is the most critical part that you have to be aware, and just educate yourself on what is allowed and what is not allowed within the company, and learn the rules and make them like a tattoo. It has to be with you all the time. You cannot forget about it.
Right.
Even for a second. It's a mandatory, but it's also, I love that every open source with AI, it's open for public, and I carry the same approach with my team members. When I share the information, I usually very transparent about how I got the information, where it's coming from, and I'm always open to questions. I actually welcome questions, and I create the same culture with my team members. I want them to be
Right.
open. I want to make sure that they feel psychological safety within the
Correct.
team. So if they have any questions, they should not have any hesitation to ask, because I would rather have them ask human first before acting on their own and
Right.
then creating the consequences that are not desirable, and then it will be a delay in fixing the consequences.
Correct.
Like a simple example with AI, when you're working with the document that you want to scan and you're not following the protocol on security, AI reads any text message that AI sees on the page.
Right.
If we humans see only black and white, AI can see white on white. And
Right.
if in the document it was a harmful embedding, it can affect AI on the level of the system, and it can alter the data processing. It can
Wow.
alter the,
Yes.
it's very damaging when people
Correct.
are unaware. And it's a very easy way to scan the document prior to working with the document by asking AI to number the lines of the document. And
Wow. Yes.
what happens, AI doesn't like absorb the information from the document, but when you see that you have your lines going, but the harmful message written in white on white that you do not see, AI will recognize and number that as well. And you will understand right away that the document is actually a harmful piece, and you actually have to contact your cybersecurity team and address the issue, because then you can trace the source and kind of stop the harm before it progresses.
Wow. Yes. Interesting. That's a very important hack that you've shared,
Yeah,
and something that
yeah,
a lot of us can use also.
absolutely. Always ask AI to number the lines of the document, and you can always see a hidden messages behind just by using this simple tool. There are many tools, but this is like very easy one, because
Right.
that you can visually assess the safety of the document.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Now, how would you recommend someone in the L&D space to build their AI literacy, especially if they are just starting out?
I think the hands-on approach is the best.
Right.
You need to experiment with AI in order to understand what the tool is about, and overcome the hesitation is the probably the biggest part. As soon as you will dive in, you will understand how easy it is. But I know some people are uncomfortable, but there are lots of courses and they're free that will teach you the basics of AI. You do not need to know like in the beginning, you don't need the depth of different
Right.
language large language models or whatever. You do not need to overload yourself with the knowledge that is not practical. But when you learn a simple prompt and you will get the result with a simple prompt of something that would have taken you hours to do,
Right.
that is always like it works excellent as an intrinsic motivation, because then you kind of like you're open to experiments. But
Correct.
uh, again, it's very people have to zero in on AI as a tool. It's not a car.
Right.
it, yeah, but
Right.
I know that people take a very academic approach to learning AI, but I think
Yes.
the opposite is more practical and working better, you have to like dive in without a fear in the beginning. And of course, I will recommend you to start experimenting at home, not at work,
Right.
because again, for the safety issues. But um, AI, you can use AI as, like this is one of the best elements that I love with AI. You can use AI as your best critic. Like
Yes. Correct.
AI doesn't have to agree with you on everything, but
Right.
when you want AI to analyze something, you can always ask AI, point out the weaknesses of this document or what could be improved. And when it comes from AI, it's not as intimidating as it comes from your boss or your
Right.
peer, where you could be exposed like you don't know something. But
Correct.
every L&D professional has to understand AI from the perspective that this is a wonderful assistant, but you have to
Correct.
train your assistant. You have to be very specific how you work with the assistant, and your assistant will serve you as good as you ask him to. This
Correct.
is the point. Like the quality of data in AI equals to the quality of the output from AI.
Wow.
So
Yes.
when you're starting something with AI, you always have to come from your personal expertise to validate the output and then slowly develop this into a multi-level conversation because, I love AI for the multimodal approach where it can create a conversation between 4 or 5 AI agents talking at the
Correct.
same time. So, and you can assign a role to each of them, and they can give you a feedback at the same time from different perspective. That makes collaboration on the documents much deeper,
Correct.
richer, but you are in charge. And that's why when you're starting with AI, start with one tool, focus on what you know and how you can move in that direction first, and slowly start building knowledge base and adding to that AI tool as much as you can, because that's going to be your toolbox that you will take with you no matter where you go, because this
Right.
is like the most important thing.
Wow. Interesting. So, coming to using AI as a toolbox, how can one use AI to drive a behavior change and not just deliver information?
Yeah, this is like that's one of my favorite topics because every team member has to function, but our ability to function directly relates to our ability to control our own emotions and ourselves. And unfortunately, that is the weakest part of the humans because our thoughts sometimes
Right.
drive our behavior. And the ability to recognize the thinking pattern that is not suits you well, ability to stop yourself right in the middle of something that shouldn't happen, but your emotions are pushing you towards that, is the
Correct.
great opportunity that will allow you to actually pause, write down to AI, what are you experiencing right now?
Correct.
And the AI, again, this is not a professional advice, but you can ask for the mindful tools from AI. How can I remove this uncomfortable feeling? And it's very interesting how AI can guide you through the breathing exercises, how it can
Wow.
take you away from the stress, how
Right.
it can guide you to separate yourself from the situation, take a moment, and then come back. This is priceless because,
Yes.
well, it takes a very good awareness in person after the years of practicing this to have the skills. But when I introduce my team members to this simple tool, like when you feel like you are in uncomfortable situation for whatever reason, just, I have also custom GPT for the mindful exercises, and it guides them through and they become hooked because it's all about that a split moment when humans could make something that they will regret about later
Wow,
versus
yeah.
stopping themselves. And that ability is not given. It comes with practice and awareness, but it actually serves as a great tool for people when they are working remotely by themselves. They're with their thinking, they're with their emotions, and no
Yes.
one can kind of help them out. And
Correct.
having those simple exercises actually help them a lot. And that is part of the coaching that could be created with AI. And they're strictly mindful exercises that is right there for people to experience in the moment of stress, to remove the stress, and then come back to the
Come
work.
back. Hmm.
I think it's a great support for the remote workers mostly because,
Yes.
working remotely is for some people is a plus, for some people is a big challenge. And
Right.
this ability to have this, I think it's very valuable because after all, mindfulness changed the behavior. And this is wonderful because the people who never experienced that, for them, it's like, wow, I didn't know about
Wow,
it
yes.
before. And now this is, like something that they go to. And I'm very thankful for my experience traveling that I discovered the power of meditation, how to
Wow.
regulate yourself through breathing, through, like meditation and mindfulness. Like it's the simplified Western approach. It's not like in-depth tool, but it's a very easy and harmless but very helpful tool
It's helpful.
that
Yes.
yes. So that changes the behavior tremendously.
Right. Interesting. So, in your view, what's the right mix between an AI driven automation and human connection in development programs?
Yes, I love my humans.
Right.
Humans are the driving force. Automation comes secondary. The
Yes.
reason for that is the automation has a wonderful convenience, but at the
Right.
same time, we don't need to give up the processes that we run just for the sake that AI can replace it or do it faster. We have to be in charge of the routine of the process and of the thinking. And we have to do it for the sake of safety of the company on the long run. Again, from the moment when AI is gone,
Right.
like we still have to be able to function. That's why the automation has to be on the second burner. But it's also important for the human brain because the one of the most favorite automations that we all love, it's the GPS. We use it
Right.
all the time.
Yes.
In Japan, they run a very well, it's a longitudinal study on the effect of GPS on human brain. They do it from
Oh,
1984. And the effect of GPS, and this is one of the longest probably automations that we're used to,
right.
has this. It has the same effect on the brain as Alzheimer's. People
Oh,
who use GPS all the time actually shrink the parts of the brain that that are responsible for the navigation.
Navigation.
It's a huge difference between navigating through the screen in the car or navigation when you are aware of the corners, trees, houses, and everything else. And
Correct.
GPS became a habit. But unfortunately, in our brain, the rule is whatever you don't use it, you lose it.
Correct.
So the long-term effect of automation on our brain, on the massive automation that we're experiencing right now, could be very detrimental. That's why we do not need to automate everything. We need to keep doing what we are doing because we want to function as humans. And the ability to function as humans we have only when our brain is working.
Right.
And actually, meditation is the offset to automation because during meditation, you restore your brain to the
Right.
functioning condition. It's very interesting. And that's why in Japan, again, they're ahead of us in the studies of the human brain in connection to automation. They do develop lots of programs where actually they incorporate writing with pen and paper,
Right.
reading paper books, because it's not the old fashioned model. It's actually practicing this sensing the sensations that actually make our brain alive and functioning
Right.
better, and
Wow.
that's what's
Yes.
very important. So that's why going it's a long answer, but going back to the automation, I truly believe that automation should be 60-40, like 60% with humans in charge and 40% being automated. And by 40%
Right.
automation, I mean mandate um, boring processes that actually humans are not benefiting from, but AI can outsource and do. So
Right.
this is one of the things that actually could be outsourced, but I don't believe in outsourcing critical thinking. I
Right.
don't believe in outsourcing creativity. I do not believe in outsourcing emotional intelligence, where AI will come up with the response. I do believe in human qualities and capacities, and they have to be cherished and preserved.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. And this actually brings us to the end of another insightful episode of the eLearning Champion podcast. We've covered a lot today, from behavior change and AI driven automation and ethical use of AI. Thank you so much, Violet, for sharing all your thoughts with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for showing interest in this. This is a very important topic and very, very actual, like something that people can benefit from right away.
Yes, absolutely. And to all our listeners, I hope you're walking away with innovative ideas to transform your L&D with AI. Do take a moment to share this episode with your colleagues and peers. Send us your suggestions on your favorite social media platform. Thank you so much for tuning in to the eLearning Champion podcast. Until next time, take care and happy learning.